If you composed a screed claiming that possessing certain Asian, African, or Jewish characteristics was a malignant, parasitic-like condition with no cure, do you think you'd escape widespread opprobrium? Or that you'd find a publisher for such absolute drivel? Well, you would think those things if you traveled in left-wing psychoanalytic circles and if you sent your piece to the Journal of the American Psychoanalytic Association. Oh man, hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC TV. Yeah, here's the story. It's all about publishing broad brush racism. Well, that's precisely what psychoanalyst Donald Moss did this month, seeing the Journal of the American Psychoanalytic Association release his illustrious idiocy called On Having Whiteness. Yeah, they released that to members of the association who are daft enough to remain members of that august group. But lest you think that Donald Moss is as obvious as Dr. Aruna Kalini, a speaker at Yale who recently proved herself to be his most immediate predecessor in the psycho profession to exhibit shameless devotion to racial prejudice and denigration of all white people, Moss is a bit more deft. You see, for him, whiteness is a condition that begins with many, but not all, members of that race, and isn't isolated to a single skin color. That's really sophisticated. Moss seems to fancy that he can escape accusations of racism by claiming that this term can be used to diagnose anyone exhibiting, yeah, you got it, whiteness, aka beliefs or behavior that he doesn't really like. Yeah, it's a racist non-starter, and no, it likely will not be rebuffed and criticized by many in his psychoanalytic circles. For example, in his abstract, we see this. Whiteness is a condition one first acquires and then has, a malignant, parasitic-like condition to which white people have a particular susceptibility. So we see his get out free card. It's whiteness, sure, but Moss isn't saying all white people suffer from this whiteness malignancy. Not at all. Imagine replacing the word whiteness with some other term derived from a skin color or an ethnic, sexual, or religious characteristic, and then see how quickly you lose invites to holiday parties, or how quickly you lose chances to publish in the Journal of the American Psychoanalytic Association. Moss continues, quote, "The condition is foundational, generating characteristic ways of being in one's body, in one's mind, and in one's world. Parasitic whiteness renders its host's appetites voracious, insatiable, and perverse. These deformed appetites particularly target non-white peoples. Once established, these appetites are nearly impossible to eliminate." Yeah, I know, it sounds like a parody, but evidently it isn't. As Andrew Thornbrook writes for the Western Journal, quote, "This is a reemergence of the logic of slavery and Holocaust, the total scapegoating of all societal ills onto an immutable characteristic," end quote. And what are facets of that whiteness? Well, Thornbrook slogs through Moss's meanderings to see some. Quote, "Any infant is vulnerable to the parasite of whiteness," Moss wrote. And indeed, the very logic of whiteness, Moss contended, is based on, quote, "number and equivalence, fairness and justice," end quote. And Moss's assertion that fairness and justice are part of some overarching malignancy does seem a bit awkward, since malignancy connotes evil and fairness and justice are necessary conditions for the moral assessment of good and evil. But regardless of that little problem, Moss tells us, of course, that a person besotted with the vapors of whiteness can actually be helped, but not cured. Quote, "Effective treatment consists of a combination of psychic and social historical interventions. Such interventions can reasonably aim only to reshape Whiteness's infiltrated appetites, to reduce their intensity, redistribute their aims, and occasionally turn those aims toward the work of reparation. Oh, what a surprise! When remembered and represented, the ravages wreaked by the chronic condition can function either as a warning, never again, or as a temptation, great again. Oh, memorialization alone, therefore, is no guarantee against regression. There is not yet a permanent cure. We get it, Moss. We get it. And as sarcastic as it is, this thing does not appear to be a joke. As Thornbrook observes, quote, "I had nothing to do with this," tweeted American philosopher Peter Boghossian, infamously known for submitting fake research articles for peer review in 2018 to expose his colleagues' political biases. Really, nothing, end quote. Boghossian must be breathing a sigh of relief because sane people would view him as dangerously unhinged, racially fixated, and a towering bore if he had anything to do with this nonsense. But here's a question. Will the members of the American Psychoanalytic Association do the same as Boghossian and separate themselves from Moss's ridiculous journal piece? Will they issue an apology? Will they do anything to stop this nonsense from being promulgated in the future? We will see, but I wouldn't count on it. Hey, thanks so much for watching, everyone. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. It's always a great thing to see the comments as well. As Nick often mentions, I get to read all the comments. I don't get to reply to all the comments, but I often try to get in there and say hello. It's great to communicate with kindred spirits out there as well. And remember, you can find all of our videos on Rumble. All of our videos are on Rumble. Every new video and many of the old ones are starting to be populated within Rumble, so you'll find them all there. You can find us on Facebook, you can find us over at TikTok and at Instagram, and you can find us on Twitter as well. And of course, if you want to contact me, I am at Gard Goldsmith on Twitter and at Gardner Goldsmith on Gab. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Spread the word. Share these with friends if you get the opportunity. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.